Senator Ted Cruz continues to war against a fake bird. Because, there's nothing more pressing in this country than nonsense culture war issues, especially over vaccines. Nonetheless, Ted Cruz persisted. In fact, on Thursday, he did a bonkers segment with Michael Knowles where he tripled down on Big Bird. Take a look.
It's important to take on the Muppets that are destroying America. and there are furry puppets being controlled by dark, ominous forces that are really a danger to our liberty.
Well, we might sound like we're joking about this, but there actually are furry puppets being controlled by dark, ominous forces.
And we're not talking about Dr. Fauci.
We're not. That's totally. We would never say that about the good doctor, applicable though it may be. The Muppets are actually being used as a mouthpiece right now to persuade children to get the vaccine. We're talking about kids between the ages of 5 and 11 to go get the COVID vaccine.
Well, look, that's exactly right. And when it comes to vaccine, it ought to be your choice. You ought to be the one making that decision. And what we're seeing from Joe Biden, what we're seeing from a lot of big businesses, what we're seeing from sports leagues is they want to use government force to force you to comply. And when it comes to kids, I think that's really pernicious.
Okay, so let's get to the ridiculous stuff first, right? So in the beginning, he's actually making a joke. And it was kind of funny, right? Oh, yeah, like a caricature of him, basically himself. Yes, there are furry puppets that are being controlled that are a danger to our liberty. Like, okay, haha, that's funny. And then Michael Knowles is like, well, it seems like we're joking, but actually we are serious. They are. Oh my God, no, don't. Like, that's how insane that you've become. That's how crazy you've become. Come on. Come on. But here's the thing, though. So he admitted that, well, yes, Big Bird's trying to persuade kids to get the vaccine. And how is that a bad thing? And then, but by the way, then conflates that with, but they're forcing you to get the vaccine. Well, okay, but wait a minute. Persuasion is not the same as forcing them. And so, by the way, it's not just kids that watch Sesame Street. Parents often watch along with their children, okay? As long as they're able to. And so there are parents that might actually learn something from these vaccination segments. They maybe get some questions answered about the vaccine, or at least see the process, etc. But Ted Cruz says, well, no, you shouldn't have that. But it should be your choice to get the vaccine. Of course, I believe in the choice, but we don't want to tell people about the benefits of the vaccine. They might actually make more informed decisions. So, wait. You say it should be their choice, but then don't want them to get information. But now here's the thing, though. If you're not informed or you're misinformed, then it's very likely that you'll be vaccine hesitant and might not take the vaccine. And how does that benefit Ted Cruz? Well, that's an interesting question. Well, because he and the right wing can then blame COVID on Joe Biden. And so it serves the culture war. Mandates bad. How dare Joe Biden force you to do something? But then at the same time, they can also go back and say, look how bad COVID is. Boy, it's terrible. Why doesn't he do something about it? Well, either way, you cannot win this. And this is the problem with when you let the right wing control the narrative on vaccines. And so now he's going to go on here in the next clip to call people mentally ill. Remember, this is a man who is feuding with a fake bird. He's going to call those people mentally ill.
Liberals, I think, are genuinely like mentally ill. An open border, 2 million people crossing illegally, they don't care. A disastrous retreat from Afghanistan, surrender, giving $80 billion in military equipment to the Taliban, they don't care. Skyrocketing inflation, they don't care. All the disasters that are happening, none of them matter. But you mess with Big Bird, holy crap, they lost it. I mean, we're seeing lefties. I just initially intended a smart-ass tweet. I was driving along and saw it and just thought it was kind of dumb. And then the reaction of the left. This has been on ABC News, on NBC News, on CBS, the Washington Post. Like the entire corrupt corporate media is surrounding Big Bird. They're protecting the big fella. And you also apparently had, tweets coming out from Elmo. You had tweets coming out from Oscar the Grouch. Now, pause for a second. Would you really take vaccination advice from somebody who lives in a trash can? I mean, that's just not a safe place to get needles, and you got to wonder about that.
It does not seem conducive to public health.
It most assuredly is not.
Right. Okay. Hey, I know someone else you shouldn't take vaccine advice from. Ted Cruz. Just saying. Ted Cruz. Now, let me just go back for a second when he was addressing, like, oh my God, we've got such real issues, right, to talk about, like inflation. Okay, inflation. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, inflation, pretty bad, right? Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to help infrastructure, jobs, raising wages? No. We're just going to push culture war stuff. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, wonderful. Thanks. Thanks for nothing, Ted. Appreciate it. I kind of feel like one of Ted Cruz's constituents, even though I don't live in Texas. I mean, I can only imagine having my senator be the person who decided during a snowstorm or a freak ice storm to fly to Cancun. Go flying, Ted. But no, he says, oh, look, we've got all this stuff that's happening. I mean, we've got open borders. No, we don't. The borders are no more open than they were under Donald Trump. I mean, Biden is still using it, and I've called him out on this. Biden's still basically using Trump's, Title 42 authority to expel migrants. He's been deporting a lot of people. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then, of course, Afghanistan. Afghanistan is actually one of the based things that, Joe Biden has actually done, because it was a disastrous war. A disastrous, endless war that was costing America, that had cost America trillions of dollars. And so, yes, end it. Disaster. Get out. Get out. Not our problem, unfortunately. Not our problem. Not our problem. And so, and by the way, I say unfortunately because we unfortunately tried to make it our problem. And not only did we, basically screw up a country for 20 years, spend a ton of money and a ton of lives, innocent people in Afghanistan were killed, and of course, just to have it come back around, to have the Taliban back in control. Kind of a disaster, don't you think? But anyway, again, Ted Cruz, last person to give vaccine advice, and also the last person to talk about a puppet. After all, I'm pretty sure during 2016, it was Ted Cruz that had Donald Trump's hand up his ass, and was a puppet for him. Oh, no, you know what? Actually, no, not Donald Trump. Let's go to the donors, actually. The donors told Ted Cruz, you better shut up, know who you serve, sir, and go and support Donald Trump. I don't care that he called your wife ugly. Go. You serve us. Never forget it. Never forget it, Ted. So yeah, Ted Cruz, definite puppet. Now, as far as mental illness goes, I would say mental illness maybe involves allowing a virus that has killed 700,000 Americans and millions across the world to kill your own voter base and think that somehow they're owning the libs by doing so. Again, serious COVID cases and death are a problem really only among conservative voters that are unvaccinated. Vaccinated people who do get COVID usually end up okay, usually not in the hospital. Again, there are very rare exceptions to both of those. Whereas the unvaccinated, according to a new study out of Texas, unvaccinated people are 20 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than the unvaccinated. Than the vaccinated. So the unvaccinated are 20 times more likely to die. Now the research get into that, was published by the Texas Department of State Health Services on Monday this week. It determined that 81.3% of COVID-19 deaths between September 4th and October 1st occurred among unvaccinated Americans. In comparison, 5% of these fatalities occurred among the partially vaccinated, and 13.7% involved fully vaccinated patients. Now, when they break it down by, of course, age, older people who are double vaccinated are still susceptible to the virus, especially the aggressive Delta variant. In that time period, unvaccinated individuals in their 40s and 50s, in their 40s were 55 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than others who are the same age and fully vaccinated. Among those aged 75 and older, the unvaccinated were 12 times more likely to die. Jesus. Unvaccinated people were also 13 times more likely to contract COVID-19 than those who were fully vaccinated. More than 7 in 10 infected people were unvaccinated compared to 19.3% who were partially vaccinated and 8.4% who were fully vaccinated. Also in that time period, unvaccinated people were 45 times more likely to be infected by COVID-19. Y'all, come on. Get with the facts, okay? They're piling up. Getting vaccinated works. Now, by the way, I say this is a war between him and Big Bird, right? Now, Big Bird was too busy teaching children how to not be asshole conservatives to respond to Ted Cruz, who, by the way, also belongs in a trash can. But, however, the parody account, Big Bird for Senate, he wasn't as busy. So now that account, again, a parody account, tweeted, "Unlike Ted Cruz, I won't fly away to Cancun while Texas is in trouble." Reads Senator Big Bird's pinned tweet, which has over 78,000 likes and 12,000 retweets. And that account has also about racked up 73,000 followers in a single week. Ted, what are you doing? Why are you beefing with Big Bird? Not only just beefing with Big Bird, but now a fake Big Bird account over this. Ridiculousness. Come on. Look, the only thing that I can think of is they're doing so because it gives them conservative clout. This is going to help him run for a higher office. Because you understand that Republicans at this point that are running for office are engaged in a dumb-off. That's what's going on. It's a dumb-off. Who can be stupider? Who can be the dumbest person alive? Who can be stupider than the last person to gain office? That's what's going on here. And so Ted Cruz is trying to be king of the dumbasses. Now, the thing is, if some of his voters die from his ambitions, he doesn't really care. That's the price that he's willing to pay with your life. But it won't result, I can guarantee it will not result in Ted Cruz gaining any sort of higher office. Why? Because at the end of the day, nobody likes Ted Cruz. Because he's nothing more than a sniveling, smarmy little bitch. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.